who we're spending about $5,000 on today to help you get prepared for 2021 and beyond. We're really focused big time on this next year for agent attraction, rev share. This is not about listings or buyers. We'll set some goals that area, and we're going to do it for a purpose. But before we do all that, this is really about where your future is. I spoke Monday in the World with Glenn Sanford, and one of the things I asked people to do, I think it was actually Tuesday, I said, everybody write down how many homes you sold 5 years ago. Real quick in the chat bar. It's like 10, 14, 17, 37, 42, 190, 260, just and then, there's, I think, 1,400 people in the auditorium. I said, okay, everyone that was 5 years ago, everyone write down what that pays you today. 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. And I said, okay, so you could go from 40 to 80, but it pays you 0 5 years later. It doesn't matter how many homes you sell in 2021. It really doesn't. Because I've been at this for 25 years. This is my 25th year. And it's great, and it's all we knew. But what if you could do that agent attraction part? It's like anything you've ever set your mind to. When you say, dang it, I'm going to figure this thing out, or I'm going to kill some. I'm going to hurt somebody or hurt something, I don't know if anybody ever been there. And anything you've ever set your mind to, you've done. And I love what Don Yoakum teaches. He's not in the room, but he says, do things you can control. I opened the cap and never had a drink. That's funny. Yeah. The Russians, vodka. Anyways, so what's in your control? It's not in your control whose timing is right, whose gate is right. I showed it to Curtis Johnson. He said no. I showed it to Jay Kinder. He said no. I showed this to many people. I have a whole list, and right now I'm just drawing a total blank, who said no and ended up coming in. Sean Works said no, right? Frank Valente, over there, wave Frank, said no. And so, but what I didn't do is I didn't wait. I didn't say it doesn't work. I kept going. And then as I kept going and they'd see more signs of, they're like, well, maybe, how's that work? And then they said, yes, your job is to keep going. And so you can only control what you could control. What you could control is talking to 2 people a day or 3 people a day or 4. It doesn't matter whether they're interested, whether they're kind to you or nice to you. It's all timing. And so guess what? You could do 2 a day. That's 10 a week. That's 40 a month. And out of 40 a month, people will join you at EXP. So quit being worried about, but I showed it to 10 and they said no. 2 a day, 10 a week, 40 a month. And then out of 40, you're going to start signing up 2 or 3 people a month. How many is that in a year? 24 to 36 in a year. And then what's going to happen is out of 10, you're going to get 2 that'll take off. That's the 80-20 rule, the Pareto principle, right? 80-20 rule. And you get to 20, you'll have 4 legs that are starting to show some life. What about the other 16? They're enjoying the 80-20 split. They're trying to go for icon. They're thinking it's kind of cool. They got some stock awards. They're just doing whatever they're doing, right? And then all of a sudden, you get to 30. Now you got 6 legs. You get to 40, you'll have 8, which is 80-20. What about the other 32? Love them, help them. When they're ready, they're ready. Some of you are that other 32 and you're here today, but you know you're ready. You know you're ready to do this. Because the definition of madness is doing the same thing again and again and again, expecting a different result. And so someone asked me today, hey, how'd your prospecting go yesterday? I go, I didn't do it. I thought you prospect every Friday from 2 to 5. Yeah, I did 4 years ago. It's a one-time thing. This is a finish line deal. You really can get to 40. Have you done 40? No, I did 10. I did 15. What got you to wherever you are was sponsoring people. That's what got you to where you are. What'll get you beyond is sponsoring people. It's cooking with gas. It's throwing gasoline on the fire. It'll cure any problem you have. Because when you put new people next to your old people and the new people are excited and good doing it, it takes away the excuses of your old dogs, And then you sponsor just naturally. I think in the last month we did 4 maybe. Yep. I did 4. I'm not even trying anymore. I did 4 personals. Chris Carter's one of them from Southern California. How long you been with EXP now, Chris?
2 weeks.
Yeah. I'm like, get on a plane, get to Reno, rent a car, come to Tahoe. I said, you don't need 2-wheel drive. I was wrong. And so all that. So here's the bottom line. You have reason to be very excited. There are 38,000 of us. There's over 2.3 million licensed people throughout North America. There are people that are whales in other industries that aren't even thinking about real estate. I didn't even cross my mind till I was 30. look for whales in other industries, show them the model explained. They will say to you, like Vincent St. Louis, who had to run to Utah to pick up family on an emergency run. He's okay, they're okay. Vincent would have loved to have been here today, but he goes, can I get my license? And now he's got like 140 people. Guess how many people Vincent's gonna have in South Africa at the end of this 2021? I would say conservatively 600 or 700 just in South Africa, Vincent, and that's all coming in on his level 3, my level 4. And you think, are you thinking about Mumbai? You should. Are you thinking about Portugal and France? Are you thinking about Paris? There's real estate agents there. I always thought I had like 35 agents in the UK, and I do in my 7 levels. But one of my agents, Bill Price, how many does Bill have in the UK?
Bill's got over 200.
In the UK. And so that's in my business, but they're below my 7 levels. And by the way, it does benefit you to have people on levels 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, because they make the company more valuable, which makes our stock. Everyone raise your hand if you have stock. Everyone, the whole room. It makes your stock more valuable. And you think, yeah, but it's dipped down in the 40s. Yep, and I bought last week and I bought this week because I know the value of EXP in the next 5 to 10 years. It's going to be astronomical. We are going to be a Google, Apple, Facebook, Amazon, Zillow. We're going to be that special story, and we're in real estate. So if we don't sell little $1,200 play phones, we sell $500,000 homes, and the volume and the revenue share. And then when we figure out mortgage, and I know what's going on in the mortgage piece, we're just about to crack the code on mortgage. Mortgage, there's 4 times the money in mortgage. The revenue share that comes after the mortgage is literally, they're doing, I think, 3 times, like the 2,800, multiply it times 3. And then you think, well, I'm not, you could tell I actually made a list of mortgage people I know just for fun that actually really know pretty well. Actually made a list, and it shocked me how many people that would definitely take a meeting with me. And by the way, I'm a real estate agent, and by the way, I can refer them loans. Do you think they want to meet with me? And then escrow. Do you know that in escrow, there's 5 times the money in real estate in escrow. There's more money in escrow and title than in mortgage. Mortgage has a lot of overhead and production and things that go into running it. Escrow and title, you ever see the escrow officer? Once you really get used to them, your clients come in, the notary goes, boop, boop, boop. They walk in, oh, hi, nice, they glad hand them, they go back. There's 5 times the money in escrow. And guess what? We're cracking the code. I think in 2021, I've been in the back meetings. I know what's happening. And when those 2 things hit, our stock at $40-something a share is going to look like they were giving it away. So you are not too late. You did not miss the boat. And here's what they said 4 years ago. Well, EXP will never work. No one's ever heard of it. Today they say, they, who knows everything, EXP will never work. Everybody's heard of it. First it would not work because nobody's heard of it. Then it'll work. You know what? I got to Keller Williams 25 years after they started. And I was so pumped and excited. People talk to me about my gate was not open for 10 years. I'm not a bad, evil person. You are not a bad, evil. Sean Work might be evil, but that's kidding. But here's the deal. He said no for 2 or 3 years. He's not a bad, evil person. Tom Dave's another holdout, right? How many years did you pass on EXP? 2 years?
2 years.
2 years. Yeah, you didn't wait. You were just happy. There was no need. And then some things happened and some honest discussions happened.
I didn't have enough pain.
Yeah, there you go. When Keller Williams came to me in 2004 and I'm selling 345 homes and making millions of dollars, like $2.7 million that year in gross commission, I go, I really don't care about this $27,000 cap. They're trying to, and this whatever. And it didn't interest me. So there are people that will come, and guess what? Now we're getting credibility. Now we aren't this penny stock, we're a NASDAQ stock. And as we grow, and we're going to open Mexico this next week, or in 2 weeks. India opens this week. I thought they opened Tuesday. I actually met with the people, and India opens next week. We're going to open France and Portugal. Your businesses will be there, I promise you, if you have the guts to get to 40. And the way you do it is you just do 2 a day. You can look up and go up there or not. No, you control what you could control. You prospect so many. I chose to do it all in one day on Fridays. And then I was kind of when the opportunity presented itself, I present the opportunity during the week. But for me, I'm a very compartmentalized guy for a crazy sanguine. So I did what worked for me. I love the Fridays 2 to 5. Other people love that 2, 10, 40, 2 a day, 10 a week, 40 people a month with a 4-week month. You're like, well, I want more, then do more. Nobody said you can't do 4 a day. Oh, it takes so much time. No, what it takes is courage. It doesn't take time, doesn't take money, it takes courage. It takes you quit caring about what people think about your ego. Well, they may be minding of you. They say, if I hear from one more EXP agent, you know what, Rick Jiha? Where's Rick Jiha? Rick's in the back. Well, Rick goes, dude, I've heard about this 10 times. That was 4 years ago. And so, yes. And I go, really, what do you know? And he starts, well, there's stock, there's rev share, blah, 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 blah. And Gene Frederick, he's my best friend, you know? And that's kind of what he said. I'm making fun of him now, right? But that's what it's telling me. And I'm like, okay. And I go, so you saw the plan. I didn't just say, okay, bye. Sorry to bother you, Rick. I said, so you saw the plan. How to make $2.1 million a year outside of real estate in the next 5 years. And you're not interested? I mean, be incredulous with people. And they're like, well, he goes, what'd you say when I said that to you?
Well, he said, have you seen the webinar? And I said, what webinar?
He's so soft-spoken. Don't you love him? I just want to hug you from here. He's like, who wants to have hot chocolate with Rick? Is it just me? It's kind of weird. I don't know what that is. He's also the world's most interesting man. Go ahead. I interrupted. You were saying, have you seen the webinar?
Yes. And I said, no, I'm not interested. There's a bunch of people talking about it. He said, you've seen the webinar and you're not interested?
Incredulously, right? Yeah.
And I said, what webinar? And then he blew up. He's like, you haven't seen, you're saying no to something you don't even know? He goes, as your friend, I can't let you do that. When can you give me 30 minutes? And I thought I'd be able to slough him off. And say, yeah, just send me that.
No, you made me meet you Sunday morning at 8 a.m. What a jerk.
I said, just send it to me. He goes, no, I'm going to be on with you. And that's when I'm like, oh, correct.
So I was on with him because B. Gove knows how to sell. Do you know how to sell? Let me give you the notes. I want you to write this down, okay? And then we're gonna get kind of dive into this. This is just kind of the chum and warm you up part. You like it so far? Yeah. So here are the results. If you will, by the way, how many of you email your listing appointment, then call them, did I get the listing? Anybody do that? I guarantee you're not a big time listing agent unless you're so successful when they get to that point. Sometimes they do. But most of us do what? Drive across town, 30, 40 minutes away in traffic, spend an hour, maybe 2, maybe 40 minutes if you're fast, and walk out there with the sign, then drive 30, 40 minutes back home, all for something that is fleeting. Everyone write down the word fleeting. I don't care how many homes you sold last year, you don't get paid a dime for it this year. Write down this, ROI. ROI on selling real estate is terrible. It is a 0.0 return. You get paid once, you work 40 hours a week, 60 hours a week, some of you work 7 days a week. Luann Chicasso has I love her, but she works 7 days a week, 80 hours a week. It's all she can do. And she sells 70 homes a year. She's got 1.2 million in stock. She hasn't totally messed it up, okay? But she's so busy selling, she works all the time. But all that 70, 80 hours a week she did last year, it gives her nothing this year unless she continues to dump in the 70, 80 to are you guys with me? And so here's what it's like. If you will take the time to do a listing presentation properly to another agent or broker, because you're listing agents and brokers. So I need you to do what I did. I didn't say, hey, Rick, watch this, I'll call you. I said, let's set up a time, because he was 2 hours away in the Bay Area. And so we set up a time, I'll be on with you. And then we watched it. And then at the end, I go, do you have any questions? And he goes, and he just said, I'm in. There's just no questions once he understood it. And so people are going to drag you to their side of the fence. It's a pyramid. It's a scam. If I can't, you're just trying to make money off your friends. You know, their negative, ugly side of life. Or you're going to just be incredulous and you're, Mike, you're way too smart with this. I promise you didn't watch it. If you had watched it, you'd be excited right now. You may have watched it while texting. You may have watched it while emailing. You may have watched it and your kids came in. Something distracted you. You're way too smart for this. Now, last week, someone said, no, I watched it twice. I said, all right, have a good day. Boom, you know? But usually, it is, so it doesn't always work. But I cannot tell you how many times people said, oh my gosh, how'd you know? Because you're brilliant. And you're just saying, oh yeah, I watched it. I don't think I'm interested. It's not for me at this time. I go, no. You didn't watch it. This is a mic drop in the real estate world. This is a seismic shift. When if your travel agent had known that Travelocity and cruises.com and hotels.com and everything was going online, would they have signed a lease for 10 years on a building at $20,000 a month? Would they have signed that lease if they would have known? If Yellow Cab was just bought all these more Yellow Cabs if they'd known Uber and Lyft were coming. Listen to me. You know we're coming, but you need to activate your faith. You need to activate your action and do what made you successful in real estate. What made you successful in real estate? You do what needed to be done, when it needed to be done, whether you felt like it or not. I feel like I'm doing a Rick Cheehaw talk. But here's the deal. You need to suck it up, and you can't be a thermometer. Here's a thermometer. It goes up and down with this environment. Oh, how hot is it? It's 103. How hot is it? God, it's 33 degrees. It's almost freezing. Did we wrap the pipes? It goes up and down with this. Have you been guilty of going up and down with your environment? Or you need to be the thermostat. You just set that thing. And guess what? You just, because here we've all seen this, and it's so true, the life of a real estate agent. I'm excited, I'm depressed. I'm excited, I'm depressed. I'm excited, I'm depressed. I'm excited. When Joe and Marguerite built a beautiful franchise with multiple offices and had 110, 120 agents, and they're on a roll, I went to those parties. I was their guest. I spoke in her offices, and she was excited. And then Realty One came in and took 35 of her best producers overnight to I'm depressed. And then I'll never, ever do another company again. And then when I showed her the model explained in my office with her, because I don't email my listing presentation, because I go the extra at 8 in the morning. Everything's 8 in the morning. Randy Bird was 6:30 in the morning. I did it in bed. I go, sorry, babe, I got to do this. We hit play. I muted the phone. I went back to sleep for 30 minutes. Never got out of bed. Randy Bird has almost 400 people now. Do it in bed. No, I'm kidding. All right, now. So I don't care how you, care how you do it as long as everybody's agreeable. This is all coming out wrong. Now, so here's the deal.
You're doing great.
Okay, thank you. I'm doing great. See, I'm doing great. So here's the deal. If what I have noticed, and this is not scientific, but it's my gut, and I actually went through and looked at it, and it's pretty accurate. The people I went and did the listing presentation and purpose. In other words, I sat with Marguerite. I was on a Zoom with Rick. Casey Spencer. Does anybody know Casey Spencer? Noel's sitting here because it's Casey Spencer. I drove to Meadow Vista in the middle of the mountains over past Auburn and way inland off of 80 on a Sunday night at 8 o'clock. And I sat there and watched the model explain. I plugged my laptop, got a USB cord. You think I know? It's a miracle I got the thing to connect, and hit play. And we sat there and watched it. Casey's like, this is amazing. His gate was open. I've showed it to many people like, this is stupid. No way. John Dolmeyer was like, rip my head off. And this is dumb. I got time for this. And I'm like, what an a-hole. I don't treat telemarketers like you treat me. I consider you to be at least a professional, friendly colleague, but he was kind of like, I don't got time for this crap, and I get it too. You guys, some of you dwell on that. You need to have a short memory. You need to be like a golfer. A golfer has a short memory. The bad golfers, they keep remembering that bad shot, and and pretty soon, they're like James, they throw their clubs in the trees. Right? Now, I can say that I have thrown some clubs too, and I am antagonistic on a golf course, and I've had a few of those clubs go right over my right ear and left ear. It's amazing I don't have ping right here. Me. I throw more clubs. But I only throw them when they deserve to be thrown, okay? It's about 2 or 3 times a year.
A week.
Sure.
How many times a year? Oh, let's hear it. How many times a year, honestly?
Well,
how many times? You see, you made me sound like a psychopathic club thrower. I make sure there's no gas. And sometimes it just feels better when you can throw your club farther than the ball went. It's not good. And it just it's a release. Don't throw your clubs. It's very immature.
Can I tell a quick story about Brent golfing? Oh my gosh. So we were in Arizona last week on Friday.
Yes!
We were on 18. And
This is last Friday.
Last Friday.
Scottsdale.
We were on 18. He said, that's a par 5. He goes, I'm going to drive this thing. He nailed it off of the tee, and he was sitting out there. He had the perfect lie in the fairway. He goes, grab my driver. So we handed him his driver.
Driver off the deck.
Off the deck. He smacked
260, right?
260. He rolled right up. This guy's a gamer. Boom. Good job, Brent.
I got, tell more stories.
We've gone all day.
Yeah. There's other stories you don't want to hear, like the time I rolled a golf cart 2 different times. Anyways, by the way, my car slid and hit a car in the driveway. I actually took somebody out. Not kidding.
Today?
Like this morning, like when I backed in. Joey, was I driving slow?
Yes, you were.
And then it just started going like this. It just started moving. And my tire hit the car and moved the car this far. And then it almost hit another car. And it was almost a complete, and it was like all in slow motion. Here's the cool thing. My tire hit their tire and moved the car this far. Tires touched I didn't damage anyone's car. So whoever drives a Lamborghini out there, you're cool, okay? So, but you need to hear what I'm about to say. When I would take the time to be in somebody's physical presence and meet them at a title company in their conference room, at a mortgage company in their conference room, drive to their office. They came to my office, right? When I was with them, when Marguerite was crying in my office, halfway through the model explained, she looks at Joe and he's looking at her and she's like wiping the mascara. You know, I have Kleenex for the model explained when this is the right person. And she's doing her Kleenex thing and getting the mascara still. And she said, Joe, she goes, we're doing this. And he's like, okay, you know. But so here's the success rate. I found it to be about a 68% success rate when I'm with them because I could see her body language. She could see my body language, my warmth, my smiling. When I'm with them, that's why we don't email the listing presentation. What do you guys do? Oh, hey, watch this. I'll call you. And you send and chase, send and chase, send and chase. Stop it. Go the extra mile. Now, when I would set up a Zoom, like I did with Randy, who was in Santa Rosa, and like I did with Rick in Concord, Walnut Creek area, and I set up the Zoom, that is about a 48% success rate. So write that down. Now, give or take 5% in direction. I actually looked at these numbers for a while. 68% in person. 48%. And then when I would just send and chase, right? Because people were in Dallas, they're in Miami, and maybe they just, you know, you could do a Zoom, so there's no reason to send and chase, stop it. But I did it too. It dropped down to like a 27% success ratio. It was like 1 out of 4. Now you think, well, I don't have that success ratio. You get back and talk to them. I would get Sheila on the phone, Rob on the phone, Gina on the phone, Jason guessing. I would do it. Well, they're not going to help me. Did you Facebook chat them and say who your person was and say, would you be able to jump on for 5 minutes? No, I said, would you be able to jump on? They think an hour. When I ask people, everything's what?
5 to 6 minutes.
When I got on a webinar this week with a guy, big player, 300 agents right here in Sacramento, 300 agents. Now he runs a virtual company already and all this. And I found out he had not watched the webinar. I said, whoa. I go, here's the deal. I go, a picture's worth 1,000 words. I could describe the Mona Lisa to you or you could see it. Here's what I want to do. I want to circle back tomorrow for 5 or 10 minutes. Everything's real quick. I talked to him for maybe 3 minutes. I want to give you some homework assignment, a due diligence. You're right now, you're at a major disadvantage. Do you talk to people like that? Who likes to be here? You're at a major disadvantage. Who wants to be? And you go, I love being at a disadvantage. Anybody? And I go, so it would not be fair to me to try to describe to you what's been brilliantly put together. So what I'm going to ask you to do, we'll call him John, just for the sake of names. Is I'm going to ask you to watch that webinar tonight after you put your kids to bed. I'm always saying that. Because if you're like, your kids are like me, they'll come in and distract you. I really need you to focus in on this. Or get up extra early tomorrow morning with a cup of coffee and watch it. And guess what? He did. And then we circle back and then we talk. I don't talk to him. Well, can't you explain it to me a little bit? No, I can't. So again, do you guys get that? 68% in person body language. And when Marguerite and this happened, she may not remember, but she started texting someone during the deal. Really? Oh yeah, I watched it. It's not for me. I do remember you texting during that. Do you remember? Because I remember. She was texting. And I'm watching her. And you ever been with some person and you watch them texting or emailing or doing something else? You're like, they're missing it, right? Mm-hmm. So I kept waiting. She looked up. She looked over at me. And I did this. And she goes, put her phone down. It was like that happened. I clearly remember that. And so guess what she did when she put her phone down? You can, if you're smart, you say, hey, look, I know how it is. Your phone dings, buzzes, vibrates, instant ESPN alert. An email came in. Who's it from? The government. Who cares, right? Right, all this stuff, but you got to look. It's a dopamine hit. You got to look. Can we just put our phones on airplane mode? I'll go first. Whoosh. And they go, oh, good idea. Whoosh. You got to learn how to do this. Also, the other little nuances is I would show people this at 6:30 in the morning, 6 a.m., 7 a.m., 7:30. 8's almost too late because guess what happens? Started by 9 a.m. They're getting calls, texts, emails. Clients are freaking out. Yeah, I don't have time, and they're distracted. They get anxious. You need to say, I'm an early bird. I don't know about you. Let's do 5 a.m. I don't care. We're going to do sleep. They laugh. Like, I'm not going to do that. I'll do 6:30. Okay, that's great. Make an appointment. Meet them early. Bring your laptop. Press play. Find a quiet place you can meet them. I've gone into Keller Williams, into Remax's, into their private office, shut the door and press played. I've done all these things, right? In person, 68%. You have a Zoom, 48%. Send and chase, 27%. Who's ready to stop emailing the listing presentation? You guys, are you with me? Okay, so what we're going to do is everyone pull out your magazines real quick. Everyone real quick. If you have a magazine handy, pull it out. If you don't, do we have any close by?
They're all downstairs.
They're all downstairs. The magazines are downstairs. We're going to bring them up real quick. We're only going to take what? There's a lot. Can we have 5 volunteers run downstairs and bring some magazines up? We have a lot of magazines down there. 5 volunteers just to grab and bring some up. We're going to hand them out. Okay, so here you go. If you look, this is a really fun magazine to do what's called a vision board with. It's called, I didn't realize that. It's called the Rob Report. And inside here, there's all kinds of fun, beautiful things that people like, and trips and travel. There's a West Palm Beach, Florida deal. So here's what I want you to do for about 5 minutes. We're going to do this for about 5 minutes. We're going to put some music on. Is that easy enough to do? But not yet till I get done talking. Hey, if I get everyone's attention. So what we're going to do for 5 minutes is you're going to do this. You're going to go, in fact, I'm going to give you an example. You're going to go, oh man, I want to be like, right here, everyone look up. Look up, everybody look up. I want to be like Rick Jihad, be a good dresser. So if you want to be, if you like clothes, believe it or not, I like fashion, I like clothes, you never know. But I really do, I like art. And so if you see a beautiful picture, rip it out. And then later you could trim it with a pair of scissors. We were going to spend 45 minutes. We have poster board, we have scissors, we have tape. That's out. We're going to give you the poster board. We'll give you the scissors and the tape. Or if you got your own at home, we'll keep the scissors and the tape. But you take the poster board. But tonight, not a second later. So what we're going to do for 5 minutes is you're just going to rip pages out like this. You don't have to use it. But you got 5 minutes, whatever magazines you have, I want you just to start ripping things out that are appealing to you. This is for your vision board that you're going to travel. Maybe a home you want to live in. Maybe a financial magazine that says debt-free, save $1 million, whatever it is. We'll put the music on. You got about 5 minutes. Start ripping. Okay. All right, we're going to bring you back. You guys are like a bunch of 8th graders on sugar. This is awesome. You're all fired up. Ooh, that's sweet. Okay, so I'll give you an example. I love to travel. I don't want to own a jet, but Kathy gave me the green light to join. This is called Jet Suites. There's Wheels Up. There's Net Jets. And so we get to, this is because this is something that was on our vision board that I just like to travel. I would like to grab you and run to Carmel on the jet. Boom, we're in Carmel in 30 minutes, right? And or take you up to Reno and we go to the Incline Village, or we run to Palm Springs real quick. We're going to do this. We're gonna have the EXP Tahoe team cabin. You guys like it? Yeah. And then people are gonna be able to get, hey, when they get to 20, they get to pick a weekend and come up, or 25 or 40. You get to 40, you get the whole week. Pick a week. Would you guys like this? Yeah. So we're gonna do some really fun stuff. But there's the other things. Hey, James, did we make a vision board?
It's right there.
There it is. So there's our vision board. And I apologize. We have too many windows, too much of a view. Sorry. But if you get up here, you'll see mainly travel, golf, and family. Travel, golf, and family. Yep. That was kind of our hard things. James is, where's your car, James?
It's over there on the far left.
Far left, right here? Yep. Is that car still there, or where is it?
It's in my garage.
It's in his garage. He painted his garage floor. He backs it in. He always starts at the morning, boom, and the whole neighborhood wakes up. James is up. So James, super materialistic, but he put it here and he has it now. I don't have a car because I'm awesome. No. So, but for me, travel, family, golf. Those are things that excited me. Yep. Today, we could literally go anywhere we want. We could, if I wanted to get a $500,000 car, I could go pick it up tonight. It's kind of cool. The NetJets thing, done. It's a $17,000 for a membership. This is going to crack you up. Are you ready? If you go to Costco, it's $13,000.
Oh, wow.
They sell NetJet membership or Wheels Up at Costco. It's $5,000 off, so $13,000.
A year or a month?
A year, every year. It's your 13. It's like a country club membership, and then you do have to spend $120,000 a year on the jet. But you get you get like 6 trips a year anywhere you want to go within 2 or 3 hours in any direction. You can bomb up to Seattle. You could go down to Palm Springs, Las Vegas, Scottsdale. You could do a 5-hour trip if you want, but you're going to eat up. If you do 2-hour trips, you get there and back. You can go a long ways in a jet in 2 hours. You all know that? And you're like, let's go. And you leave at 10 o'clock tonight. We're getting it because some of you know, some of you don't know. We live in the Caribbean now. We actually live there. We have a place in the Caribbean. It's beautiful. And so we left very quietly. And so we get to live there 6 months out of the year. Starting January 1, the $200,000 a month we pay to the IRS goes in our savings account. Who likes that plan? I remember 3 months ago, I'm like, I will never live in the Caribbean. That's just ridiculous. Not a chance. And then we wrote our first check. And I called Gene Frederick. Okay, tell me how this works. When you start spending hundreds of thousands of dollars a month and giving it to Gavin Newsom or Joe Biden, or Donald Trump or whoever, I don't want to get political, but the point is this, when you give it to the government that maybe spends money on things you don't agree with, right? Right? Yeah. I'm like, later, I worked way too hard for this. So it's 6 months out of the year we live there. We're going there for 40 days at a time, back 40. You guys, I've been in the Caribbean for 3 weeks. A lot of you don't even know I was gone because I'm on the phone, I'm doing Zooms, I'm doing 3-way calls. I just slobbered, sorry. I saw it just go bam right on your shoulder. It was
front row.
Can I have
Front row.
So here's the deal. You guys can live anywhere in the world because of COVID-19. It taught us we could do things differently, right? That's the silver lining of COVID-19. I have not. Are we missing a beat? We're just rocking and rolling. And so, I'll go back I'll here for Thanksgiving, go back November 29th till about the 9th of December. And then I'm back for Christmas, the holidays. And then January 1, we're going for 40 days. And we'll just be there. I'll be available, Zoom and phone call. Like always, when you guys call me, I'm usually at my office. I will be at my office in the Caribbean, and it's like just like this. And you guys will be able to do this. We should have queued up the video, but it's just like the ocean is there. There's palm trees right outside the window. There's a beach, the pool. It is stunning. I rented it $7,000 a month, sight unseen. I didn't even see a single picture. I just signed a year lease. How would you like that to be no big deal to you, right? Susan Frederick said, just trust me, you'll love it. I'm like, because Gene Fredericks told me I'd love it, but if you know Gene, he loves everything and everybody. So I'm like, no. It's kind of like me. I'm like, oh, you love this person. Kathy's like, you love everybody. I'm like, that's true. But and so Susan said it's just amazing. So maybe we'll get the video up and show it to you for the end of the day. But it needs to get dark. Maybe we'll show it to you at 5 o'clock because you guys will just freak out. And you can come visit. It is amazing. We have a 4-bedroom, 4-bath, just... We're in Puerto Rico. We live in Puerto Rico. Across the Caribbean, we see St. Thomas. Across the ocean, on a nice clear day, we see St. Thomas, and it's beautiful. I've ordered a 6-seat golf cart. My life is very stressful. Where am I going to take my golf cart? Now, so what we're going to do now is I need you downstairs. You can all grab poster board, right, Rob? Yep. We have supplies.
I got tons of scissors. I got everything.
We got more magazines. So we were going to do this for 45 minutes, but with the snowy roads and all the craziness, you just kind of experienced what we can give you today. We got to move on. But I'm begging you to go home and do this. James, how long did it take us to do this?
We did it immediately. It didn't take us very long at all.
And Kathy, do you see your face all over this thing? She's my dream. Give my wife a hand for putting up with me. And give James a hand for busting his butt and doing all this stuff. And Rob. These guys are amazing. Rob got here yesterday in a full-on whiteout blizzard with 50-mile-an-hour sideway winds. It was insane. It was gnarly. And he, by himself, brought in every chair you're sitting in, all the camera equipment, set up. He kept sending us video. He had the tunes cranking in here. He stayed here alone last night. I'm like a total scaredy cat. I'm like, dude, I heard a sound. I'll be like, I want somebody with me, you know? Anyways, but okay. So you do your vision board. How many times we see this all the time, and it inspired us. Today we could golf anywhere in the world. It's just no big deal. And so these things work. Do you make an altar to it? No. But it's like you're kind of architecting your life. On that note, we're going to switch to a 15-minute talk, probably the most profound talk, one of the best ones Glenn Sanford's ever given. So you may not be able to see him really well, but you'll be able to hear him very well. So go ahead and roll this. This is really good. Please take notes and really pay attention. Thank you.
And in our case, because of the way we set up EXP monetarily, that allows us to do things that ultimately others can't do. So I'm going to jump into just a little bit of a section here, which is really, let me just go back to I made a few notes here. And a lot of these notes I made this last week. You know, you're going to hear this week, especially, you're going to hear a lot about what to do in this business called real estate. And you're going to hear about lead generation techniques and tools. You're going to hear from some of the best on how to actually build your business and actually scale that business and actually get results out of that business, whether it's be working with buyers, sellers, growing EXP from a perspective of an agent owner. You're going to hear about all of this stuff. And, you know, really at the end of the day, you know, we think about this whole concept of why do we work? Why are we here to do the things that we do? And I want to challenge you on this. The one topic is why did you get into real estate? And when I say that, you know, and feel free to use the text chat here or even on YouTube Live, you guys that are watching live, you know, why did you first get into real estate? And my guess is that a lot of people are going to say to make money. A lot of people are going to say that they needed some income. You know, for me personally, when I got into real estate back in 2002, you know, I've been a consummate entrepreneur most of my life. In 1998, 99, I wrote a business plan. It was for a company called eShippers.com, and we were an outsourced e-commerce logistics company. And I partnered with a company called Unigroup, and I partnered with a company called Card Service International, and we were going to build this basically kind of do like Amazon's doing today. And unfortunately, we ran into the .com collapse in 2000, so I became a dot bomber. But when I came out of that, I was $40,000 more in debt than when I started down that exercise, and I needed a job. I was doing some different things. I was doing some web design work. I was sort of in between stuff. You know, we had to downsize from the Chrysler Concorde, which was a really nice, you know, Chrysler Concorde sedan. It was an executive car. I was really proud of it. Leather seats, the whole 9 yards. And we had to downsize from that to a Geo Metro, a used Geo Metro, and a used Ford Focus wagon with a cigarette burn in the seat of the car. And I needed to make money. I was in pain. I was in a lot of pain. My credit totally sucked. And so for a lot of people, they got into real estate because there was some sort of pain in their life where they needed to make some money. And they needed to make some money, and they heard about this thing called real estate, and so they got into real estate. And then what ended up happening? In a lot of cases, agents would actually start to sell some real estate. They, having coached a lot of agents, I coach them, whether they're on my team or I just watch them, but even myself personally, a little bit in the early stages, you start to make some money and the pain goes away. And what's the first thing that agents do when they start to make a little bit of money? Well, if you're like most agents, you tend to go on vacation. I would know, I did the same thing. I went on vacation, and I had a financial thermostat, which basically was all geared around avoiding pain. And so when you think about it, and some of you are probably, most of us, are probably still operating to a financial thermostat, which basically means that when the pain is significant enough, you do the work, you make the phone calls, you prospect your database, you build the stream of income, and then you go out and you sell, and then eventually you make money again, and then you at some point you start to coast again. And this is that general cycle that most agents go through. And it's one of the reasons why, unfortunately, real estate has a fairly high number of real estate, especially if the market starts to go sideways or south a bit, that has a high number of bankruptcies in it, because a lot of agents are really in this sort of chase the deal and then coast, chase the deal and coast. And that's really the pain cycle. It's really the avoidance of pain that really motivates people to actually be in the business of real estate. One of my mentors years ago, and I say mentors very loosely, but he had a statement that the job of a good sales manager would make sure his salespeople were in debt. And why that was is because he knew that if his salespeople were in debt, there'd be enough of a pain cycle in place that they would have to actually go out and sell whatever product or service that it was. I know we're good friends. Our good friend Tom Hopkins, who I know we're going to hear from a little bit later this week, one of the very first things that he would do as a sales manager was to actually go and take his salespeople out and make a deposit on automobiles. And the reason why is because most people don't really have enough pain in their life that they actually need to go and sell a lot. And so this gave them both something that of value to strive for, to have this nicer automobile, but it put some skin in the game. It was all about motivating people, but it was also recognizing that if they didn't hit their numbers, that they weren't able to pay for the car, there was a little bit of pain. And so pain is a really significant motivator. Now, I was just at one of the sprints, and of course Dave talked about the sprints earlier, and there's gonna be more sprints coming up, and I'm super excited about these sprints. I was in Arizona last week, and then I went to Dallas last week, and then there's something happened in Dallas, which is going to go into the big reveal on Thursday. But one of the things is that these were some of these people were agents that had built very large organizations inside of EXP. They've attracted and helped agents succeed at a really high level. And as I was looking at it and having conversation, some of these agents are now in a place where maybe it's easier to coach. They're making way more money than they ever expected to from this thing called EXP Realty, that it sort of puts you in a little bit of a conundrum. What happens to your life when you don't have the pain cycle continuing to be the main driver for productivity in your business? And what happens when you start to go, well, I could play more golf, or I could do this, or I could do that, and to some extent, coasting, and I use this phrase, coasting is the first stage of pain. When you don't have a bigger purpose, a lot of times, money is the purpose. And if we can move from from money being the purpose to something bigger than that. Something about, you go back to that Zig Ziglar quote, about helping other people. If that becomes your purpose, how do you show up differently? How do you ultimately, make things better for other people? And so, when you think about this financial thermostat, most agents, again, when they need to make more money, they go out and sell. And when you get comfortable, they generally go on vacation. Again, when I say you, I'm really talking about me, especially in my early days. This was me. I was going on vacation. And then there was this, and that's really the definition of the hamster wheel. I mean, the hamster wheel is to a large extent self-imposed. The reason why we don't get off the hamster wheel is because we haven't figured out what's the bigger purpose. Why are we here? And so again, this week, I think this is going to be an incredible week. We've got all these great speakers. We've got all of this great content. If you can think about what is your purpose? What is it that you ultimately want to do? What's the legacy that you want to leave? I'll submit that most of you probably don't want to have the legacy of playing lots of golf. That, if that's, not to say that that's bad. I mean, but most of you would love to have a legacy of having the biggest impact on other people and helping them be successful, and whatever that means. And some people are going to be totally different. Don Hobbs, who obviously is a great leader, around organization. I had the privilege of attending the mega managing course that he ran back in 2008 when he was running Hobbs Herder, and I still think about one of the phrases that he used is the purpose of a business. Now, let me just ask this, and again, use the text chat here, do it on YouTube Live, just so we can share. But what's the purpose of a business? And go ahead and just start typing away. And by the way, there's no wrong answers but there's the answers that that come from that come from the general population, what people are going to say, and the sort of, we'll call it the accepted answers, and then there's the real purpose of a business. And obviously today we had our quarterly earnings, which Jeff's going to talk about some of those numbers later on, and those numbers were great. Nothing wrong with the numbers, but a lot of people will say the purpose of business is to make money, and I so love the phrase that I got from Don Hobbs that I literally have operated from this premise pretty much since 2008. And the purpose of a business is to serve the needs of the owner. And so when you reposition it and you rephrase what that means, you start to realize that the business is there to serve your needs and to serve your purpose, to serve why you want to show up. And so EXP is here to help you actualize whatever that purpose is. I think one of the bigger challenges for each and every one of us is to think about what exactly is that purpose. It's really tough for a lot of people, and again, myself included. When I say you, I'm really talking about me, and I'm talking about different stages of my life. But trying to figure out your purpose is a tough deal. Purpose is almost like going to the smorgasbord. You've got the opportunity to define anything you want as your purpose, and when you have so many things to sort of define as your purpose, or what you want to do or what you want to be, the paradox of choice kicks in. And the paradox of choice basically says that for each additional choice that you have in front of you, your the likelihood of actually making a choice goes down by some percentage. And they've actually been able to measure this, that like even in insurance and other things, that every time you give somebody an extra choice, the actual likelihood that they're going to make a choice actually goes down. So it is one of those things that gets tougher, because a lot of times when you pick a purpose, it means that you're actually sort of carving out and getting rid of a number of other things that you could be doing. But once you get laser focused on a purpose, you can actually impact people's lives in a huge way. I'm assuming, of course, that people that in that embedded in whatever your life purpose is to help others, because I think that ultimately is the reason why we're all here on planet Earth, is to actually impact other people's lives. So as we continue to sort of refine this week, when you think about purpose and you think about what is EXP or as a company, it doesn't, we sell real estate. Let's get real. That is the business that we're generally in. We're in the business of listing homes, working with buyers, helping people achieve the dream of home ownership, or to help them with those things. But we're really way more than that. We're really about, again, changing the destiny of someone who might have struggled in the business. And so when we think about giving back and we think about what our purpose is, how does that change how you show up? And that's one of the other things I think is, when you operate from purpose or on purpose, how does that change how you show up? And I'm going to again sort of think about it from the perspective of, if you're operating at your highest level from a purpose perspective, does it matter how much money do you make? Probably not. However, you'll likely make more money because you will naturally attract people to you that want to do business with you. So when you operate on purpose, the number of agents you attract, probably it doesn't matter. However, you're likely to attract more agents because they know where you're coming from. They know that you're there for them. They know that the reason why you're on planet Earth is to help others, and that is really, really attractive. And so you're going to attract more agents. The number of transactions is not an important metric, when you're operating on purpose. However, it's likely that you're going to help more buyers and you're going to help more sellers actually complete transactions than you would when you're not operating on purpose. The number of people on your team don't matter, but how many people are going to be attracted to join your team because you're operating on purpose. And this is one of the things I've recognized over the years, and I didn't know how to articulate it, but this week it kind of hit me, and this is kind of the sharing this here. I've shared a little bit in Dallas on Thursday on the same theme. But when you operate on purpose, the facts don't matter. How many of us, of course, and of course there's some people here probably were this, and certainly I've been this in other scenarios. But how many of us got a whole bunch of facts as to why EXP wouldn't work? Every one of us. I mean, you go on social media, probably today, you'll probably see some people, coming up with their own facts as to why EXP doesn't work and why it doesn't make sense and this and that. But when you're operating on purpose, as a company and as an organization, there's a reason why we're succeeding, and it's because we have a bigger purpose. The purpose is, and I've talked about this time and time again. I built the real estate brokerage, and I say, we built the real estate brokerage, and now we're 38,000 of us plus. We are building the real estate brokerage that we individually and collectively want to hang our license at. I, of course, don't actively sell real estate, but every time we make a decision, whether it be things like agent healthcare, whether it be how we think about caps and splits, as the way we think about how we're leaning in and building a ubiquitous platform in multiple countries around the world, and we're plugging in training and coaching and EXP cons and all these different activities. This is all purpose-driven activity to support every single person who wants to plug in. And again, a little bit, a little teaser about the, on Thursday, this is kind of this really cool thing that we're going to talk about that, again, I think is going to help elevate that, and you'll be able to see how this ties into the bigger purpose of EXP and where we're going. So, so when you're on purpose, and if you think about, once you have a purpose, if your purpose, and I'll go back to, if you're a struggling real estate team leader, and let's say you run a team, and if you're a struggling team leader and you're wondering why you can't get agents to stay on your team, I would challenge you to think about, what is your purpose? What is truly the purpose of your business? And you can think about it from the perspective of, the purpose of business to serve the needs of the owner, but is there a bigger purpose that you can articulate that ultimately will get people to want to join your team? And think about what that is, because if you can articulate that, and if that is who you are at a DNA level, people will follow you. People will join your team. People will want to be on your team. They will run through brick walls to ultimately help you achieve that purpose, because the purpose itself is more important than any dollars that you'll put up. But because you've got the purpose, you'll have more dollars coming in as a result. So purpose ultimately drives this thing. So, going back to NPS, we talked a little bit about NPS. One of the reasons why we use it is because we want to be 100% agent centric. And so it's the basic question, on a scale of 0 to 10, how likely would you refer a friend or colleague or family member to join eXp Realty? And it's such a powerful question because, and as many of you know, a 9 and a 10 is a promoter. Similar to giving somebody 5 stars on Uber or what have you. But a 9 and a 10 basically means you're pretty much all in. You're like, you love eXp, you love what it stands for, and then we have a follow-up question is, what most influenced you to give it that score? And so if you're a 9 or a 10, generally you're telling us why you love eXp. Every once in a while somebody will throw in something that could be improved, but normally you're a 9 or a 10. It's pretty much rock solid, love eXp, what have you. You're a 7 or 8, you're telling us maybe a little bit of stuff that you really like, telling us a little bit of stuff that you could see improved. And then if you're a 6 or lower, you're generally referred to and as a detractor in terms of just the score. However, that's where all the data lives on how we as an organization can step up to actually improve eXp. So one of the things initially when we started introducing eXp or NPS and even to the staff, initially the staff was like, my God, I don't want to see the 6s and lowers. And for me, I'm like going, that's where all the gold is. That's how we improve. That's how we actually, do things better at eXp. And we should be, we shouldn't be wanting them in that we don't want to have a low bar of service that we have for agents and brokers. But we want to get that feedback, because that gives us the feedback to continue to move the bar forward, or move the ball forward in such a way that nobody can catch us. There's a reason why we're the fastest growing real estate brokerage in the history of residential real estate. It's not, by the way, it's not because of rev share, it's not because of equity. Now, some of you will say, that doesn't make sense, that's why I'm here. That is just the icing on the cake. In my opinion, the reason why everybody's here is, well, if it's the entire package, which includes revenue share, includes equity, but includes listening intently to what you need as agents and brokers in the field, out there, going out listing homes, going out working with buyers. What are the products and services that you need to help make your life easier? How do we make the business better, and how do we stay engaged, and how do we lift each other up, and how do we continue to kind of make this thing the most amazing place to hang your license. And so that's really our purpose is to always be and always listen. And it's tough. I had to literally had to fire somebody a number of years ago who said, I don't manage companies based on NPS, I manage companies based on P&Ls. And some of you might, again, sort of kind of go, what does that mean? Because I manage my company from a P&L. Probably do look at your P&L, but you probably don't manage your company from a P&L if you're running a big company, a big group, or a big organization, because ultimately it's about what your customer, your client, your fellow agent, what do they think? What do they feel? How do they feel about your service? And then it ultimately, it turns into a P&L. And so when you think about coming from service, when you think about coming from purpose, think about the P&L that ultimately drives for you and ultimately allows you to do things that others won't be able to do because they aren't coming from this higher sense of purpose. So I just want to leave that with you here today. The difference between purpose and pain, and think about how much further and how you'll show up when you come from purpose. When you come from purpose, and this is something I've had to struggle with over the years, and now financially I'm better off than I ever expected. It was never a goal to hit the type of numbers that I personally hit. And as you go through that journey, that continuum, every time you move up the continuum, whether it be income, net worth, whatever that is, it does put you at, it's almost a decision crossroads every time you go through that, because every time you go, man, I could coast now. I could take it easy. I could put my feet up. I don't have to work another day of my life, and I could just be comfortable. And yet, the struggle then becomes how to continue to have a bigger purpose, how to have a bigger impact, how to continue to pour into other people such that they can have a lifestyle, a mindset, and a dream that's bigger than what they ever thought about. And so, I think that's, what EXP represents is a potential to get off the hamster wheel and to actually achieve and live a bigger purpose. And so, super excited about, how you can maybe take some of this, use this week, as you're hearing about the what's and the whys of doing things in your business in ways that can help take your business to the next level. But if you're doing it in the service of a bigger purpose, everything gets easier. In fact, I would say that real estate and this business gets really easy when you understand your purpose. When you understand why you're here, and you can articulate that to other people because it's part of your DNA, this business gets really easy, and you're gonna see things come your way that you never expected to see come your way before. We're investing a lot of stuff. Obviously we can talk about, the Showcase IDX and how it's growing out, a lot of things. And I know in Canada in the last week or so, they, did a demonstration of the Canadian portal, and everybody's really excited. And we're excited about seeing how that's going to roll out in the US and internationally. We've got, other services, express offers, we've got the international growth, we've got the big reveal on Thursday. And these are just things that, I'm sort of paying attention to right at the moment. And then you're going to hear about so much more stuff this week. And then of course we've got all these great speakers that are going to be talking about the stuff that they're going to be bringing here, because they believe in pouring into people. They believe in helping other people be more successful, to inspire them, to have them step up and get excited about, whatever journey that they're on, to jump the curb, play a game in such a way that it doesn't matter who wins the election. And ultimately, I hear a lot of, stuff going on right now still, about the election. Well, if you've won the game inside your own mind, it doesn't matter who wins or loses out there. If once you've won the game of purpose, it doesn't matter who won the election or who didn't win the election. It doesn't matter what policies that are put out there by others, because your purpose is bigger than that. Your purpose is non-reliant on the policies that others introduce into the system. Those are just business constraints. Those are just things that we work with. And the nice thing is that everybody gets to work with the same rules and the same system. And if we're creative and we got a big purpose, there's nothing we can't solve. Everything is figure outable, when you've got a big purpose, because you'll spend more time thinking about how to solve big challenges that the little stuff won't matter. It won't matter if a tax rate changes here or this happens over there. Your purpose will overcome anything if you've got a big enough purpose.
So that I just kind of wanted to give you this pain versus purpose, and then coming from where you're there to help them, where your goals are so big, your vision's so big that you have to really go, okay, what does Frank and Mary want to do, right? What do Mike and Renee want to do? What does Lexi and Matthew want to do? And you got to help them hit their goals. And so you got to have some big goals, not just for you. What about them? Look at whoever you've sponsored. Do the people you've sponsored know that you love them? Do they know that you really care about them? And I do my best to do that. And I don't always succeed, but anybody feel like, I really try? Thank you. And I go to bed every night knowing that I did my best. And then I come home and I play ping pong with Ty. I watched Megamind with the girls last night. We laughed like crazy. If you haven't seen Megamind, the cartoon, it's stupid funny. It's like an adult cartoon, Megamind. But so here's the deal. Then Kathy and I got to hang out, and that was more fun. But but you got to have balance. When are you going to work? When are you going to play? So we're gonna start with kind of the business planning of this. Everyone grabs this real quick and a pen. If you don't have a pen, raise your hand. By the way, Fidel, could you come forward so I can see you? Lift up those batteries. We have about 15 batteries that are fully charged up to charge your iPhone. If your iPhone's dying, feel free to grab one if you need one today. Do you need a battery? Pen. Okay, you put them down. But all the batteries are there. If you need to charge, just grab it. When it runs out of juice, put it back. And then pens. Yeah, we'll pass some pens around. We want you to write this down. So we need a pen up here. You can throw me one. I'll catch it. Pens in the back. There we go. Whoa. It died short. I almost had it. Here comes some more pens. I think we're good. Pens. We need pens over here. We're good? Everyone's got pens. Okay. So if you will take your workbook, we made this custom just for you. And go ahead and open it. And we're going to start with some basic goals. And we're going to do some math here. So go ahead and flip back one. Rob's gone. It's all right. No big deal. So you can leave it. And never mind. It's fine. So I have the clicker. I have the power. Where's that song? He's got the power. Whatever. Never mind. I'll never do that again. Who did that song? Who does that song? Not me. Okay. So the first thing I want you to do is we're going to focus on 2021. This may look really basic, but there's method to my madness. So I want you to write down how many listings you need to sell. Now, before you do that, and how many buyers, some of you need to sell more than you're selling because your bills aren't paid. You're in pain. You need to buckle down. You need to work harder at selling real estate. You know, the return on investment long-term is horrific. You would never invest your money that way, but you do with 40, 50, 60, 70 hours a week of your time every year. Don't even think twice. Well, this is what I do. And so some of you need to sell more. Some of you just need to sell what you need to pay your bills. Some of you need to sell less on purpose. I'm not looking at anybody at all. I'm not looking at anybody in the room. Some of you are gifted, right? And I'm looking around the room, and really all of you are very gifted, right? But you're addicted to listing appointments. You're addicted to doing 50, 80, 100 deals a year. And let me tell you what, you don't have the margin to do this. Because if you know what your purpose is, which is changing lives and helping other people, if I had stayed just running the Brent Gove team, and we loved it, some of my team members are here, I was able to impact the lives of people that were on my personal team. Cindy Silva, my personal team. Darcy Stratton, my personal team. Cindy Litzinger, we adopted her. Right? And then, who else is on me? Where's Krista in the back? Krista in the back, my personal team. She actually impacted my life, and I think Cindy and Darcy as well, more than I impacted your lives. I mean, it was it was amazing. It was just great. But that's what it was. And the rest of you, a lot of it, we didn't even know you, right? I didn't know Jeffrey and Jen in the back there in Daly City, and one of the top Better Homes agents out of 400. They're like top 5 out of 400, knocking down the $1 million homes. I didn't know everybody, but so here's the deal. by doing this, you'll have a much bigger influence, right? Sean works in the room. He just said, I got my biggest revenue share check ever this month. Give him a hand. Good job, Sean. So Sean was working at his team for Keller Williams and doing expansion teams. What's the biggest that ever get? Because you had direct impact on that group. How big altogether? Was it 10, 15, 20? I don't know. About 25, and that's awesome, and you were able to do that. And then, you know, when the deals don't get converted, then your advertisers dry up and they start giving you. How much were you getting a month for advertising from some of your lenders?
$6,000, $7,000.
And then when things don't get converted and things does the money dry up?
$12,000 a month overhead.
Yeah. Yeah, just on that. And then how big is your rev share team at EXP now? 110. Yep, give me a hand. But here's the deal. The hardest part is the beginning, getting it out of the station. It'll be his check, what it took him to get to his biggest check ever, which is, you know, $10,000 a month, $120,000 a year. He's getting like $1,000 an agent, right? A month, you know, a year. That's what it is at this level. Then it's going to drop down to about $750, and we're going to do the math at $750. But when you're new and you're this, so he's literally at 120. And how many agents does he have? 120. You with me? He'll go to 20 in the next 6 months. It took him a year and a half to get here, whatever it was, but he'll go to 20 in the next 6 months. And then when he's at 20, he'll go to 40 probably within 6 months after that. It just starts growing exponentially. In July, we're like $350 a month. Wow. How can you even budget? But here's the deal.
$350? Yes.
300, yeah. But it jumped $200,000 a month in like 4 months. This is what you have a hold of. And then when you're able to, like we gave on the way up this morning, and we literally said, don't let anybody know it was us. And it was way bigger than you're even thinking, because that's what we want to do. Yeah. Because we've got purpose and our pain. I have 5 children; they are a pain. But right? Does anyone know the scientific name of children? They're called ICUs. Anybody know what that stands for? Income consuming units. Now, some of you have 1 or 2. You're like, oh, life's good. I can't get motivated to do this thing. Try 5. Then adopt 2. We have 7 of those little suckers, right? They're bleeding us dry. It's like kicking them off, you know. It's like, but we're motivated. How do you stay motivated? Oh my gosh. Okay, so now that we talked a little about selling more, selling the same, or selling less to create margin to do where your future is and your purpose, I want you to write down how many listings you're going to do in 2021. Just quickly, you can redo it, but I'm going to make a point. And how many buyers you're going to do. And mine, I just wrote down, let's go with the 50-50. 10 listings, 10. These aren't my goals. I'm giving a hypothetical. My goals is to do 0 and 0, okay? 2.5 years, I have not listed a home. And you think, do you miss it? I went with Drew Saturday morning. It was terrible. Yeah. I used to think I'm so glad I went with Drew. I hated it. Yeah. They are showing me their nasty closet that's being remodeled and all the carpets ripped up and just like and it was a $750,000 fixer up in by Diamond Springs, but it was rough going. And I'm like, I haven't done this in like I'm never.
Text from an agent who can't figure out the lock boxes. I'm motivated to never sell.
Yeah, can't figure out the lock boxes. Yes. So there you go. Okay. So you all got that down. Everyone got your numbers there real quick. And I'm going to take you through a thing. So what is it? Quickly. You could redo it later. How many listings, how many buyers? And then I put it $10,000 average commission. There's your average gross annual income, $200,000. So you do it real quick. I'm going to give you you're going to write down.
How do we do the math on the agents?
I'm not there yet. I'll show you in a minute. Everybody raise your hand when you finished listings, buyers. Like Noel here put 0 buyers and 30 listings. And she put how much? $300K, because she's in Auburn. Typically, it's a $10,000 commission. Right. Jeffrey, what is your average commission in the Bay Area? 25,000 a sale. We're handing out the throw-up buckets right now. Everybody just throw up on him. They sell 6 homes and make $150,000. Yes. Oh, thank you. They're all pointing to you. Rick has a question.
Is this for us personally or for our team?
Your team, including your team stuff. Okay, you personally. I'm just trying to make a point here. I don't care. Do it later. So everybody, I want this done. Just write something in there, and then write down for Jeffrey. It's $25,000 a house. For Sacramentoans, it's, I think 10 is a good number. They're in El Dorado Hills. What is it? Listen to this. In El Dorado Hills, what is the average commission typically when you sell something?
We sell all over, but our average is 15,000.
15,000, so another 50%. So they're 15. So if they had 20, it would be 250. It's pretty easy to do this. So everyone write down that number. Okay, we're going to move on. Now, we're going to do the sponsoring. So let's say you have nothing in place. Sean doesn't have 120 agents. Darcy doesn't have whatever she has. Cindy doesn't have the people she sponsored. You're starting fresh. How many are you going to sponsor this year? I just put 10. You could put 20. You could do whatever you want. I'm showing you 10. You pick that number for you. How many people are you going to sponsor in 2021? The speed leader determines the pace of the pack. Now, the group I brought out to 60. If you sponsor 10, you should finish with about 60, okay? And that's how that kind of, it could be more, it could be less, but just kind of an average. And we get $750 an agent is what we work with. That'll actually be higher. Sean's averaging 1,000. We're going to go low. So if you multiply 60 times 750, you get $45,000, I believe.
So is this cumulative, it's adding on to what we already have?
Yeah, I'm just giving you an exercise here. You're going to have to go home and think this through. And by the way, all of you have a digital copy of this in your inbox now or this afternoon.
It's actually up at brentgove.com. It's on the very front page.
So you can go and you can download digital. So I want you to mess this up. Don't think, if you're like me, you don't like scribbles. I want you to mess this up. Okay, we're going to move quicker. So notice this. Here's my point. $200,000 a year and a paltry $45,000 a year rev share. You guys done? We're just going to move on. Yes.
Sorry, real quick. How did you get to the group of 60 from the 10 sponsors? You just
Because 10
multiplied
brings
it by
on
6?
6.
Guesswork. Just guesswork. You sponsor 10, you should have 60 if you're working with them, okay? You should do that. You might end up with 40, you might end up with 80. It's just kind of a number, right? You may go, well, I'm doing 20 and forget that. I'm going to do 120. You guys with me? The numbers are whatever you fill in there. It's a little bit of guesstimation. That makes sense?
Yeah.
Don't get overly scientific. But if you want to take this number, multiply it times 750, that's how you get this number. And you can write that down. Okay, we're going to move on. Watch this. Ready? Everyone go to 2022. Now, I want you to write the same goal for listings and buyers in 2022. Just do it, just for fun. You'd be like, well, I'm going to sell less in 2022 if I'm making this money. But just for fun, put the same goal for 2022. You do your own, but I'm going to show you something. 10, 10, 10,000. There's your 200. But look at Seabiscuit coming around the corner. In 2022, you sponsor 15 more. Now you've got how many? 25. You did 10 in 2021. You do 15 in 2022. How many do you have personally sponsored? How many? 10 plus 15 is 25. You guys are awesome. Now, you have 25, okay? Your group has grown to 150 total in my hypothetical illustration. You may do 25 in 2021 and have 150 at the end of next year. These are your goals, they're not mine. I'm just giving you an example. A group of 150, when you multiply it times 750, equals, what does it equal?
2.2 million.
$112,500, okay? $112,500. Now you think, what's happening here? You're starting to pay off credit cards. You're starting to pay off cars. You're starting to get out of debt. Year 3, you sell the same amount of homes, whatever you currently have, put them there just for fun. When you go home and do it, you may put, I'm not doing any in year 3. I'm going to be free in 24 months. And I'm telling you, free means free. It is awesome. I used to think, but I'd love it so much. I miss it. I was crazy. I love being with Kathy and the kids. I love being here right now with you guys. You know what I'd be doing right now? Ask Darcy, Cindy, and Krista, who know me well. Anybody else on my personal team? Steve was on my team for years. Any other on my team here? I don't love the rest of them. No, I couldn't fit them. Sandra ran my business for the first 10 years. Sandra was the first person I ever hired. Brave everyone, Sandra. She ran the Brent Gove team and got it up to like 400 sales a year. She's a monster. Meet her. She could tell you stories. And first person I ever hired part-time, single mom with 2 kids. And but it's Saturday morning. What time is it? It's noon. Anybody know what I'd be doing? I'd be putting up signs, open house signs. I'd be probably either at an open house or getting ready to meet somebody to train them how to do it. I did that for decades. And I said, you love this, right? On the way here, we stopped in Colfax. I got gas because, of course, I didn't get gas yesterday. I'm like, oh, crud, I better get gas. Irresponsible to go to the mountains without a full tank of gas. I made myself stop in Colfax. Kathy was wanting, nobody asks for food anymore. You want protein and gluten-free things. So she goes to Starbucks and just gets a sandwich and throws the buns away. And she orders me a skinny vanilla latte, right? That's what I asked for. Well, it came soy. I don't do soy. But I said, okay, I'm a prisoner of war. I haven't had food in 6 months. The guard bought me I'm in Siberia, it's cold. He brought me this hot drink. It's a soy vanilla latte. I will love it. It's going to be incredible. And I got my mindset right. I sipped it because I hate soy. It was incredibly good. Because I went to not being in a prison cell in Siberia, freezing cold, and the guard had mercy on me. He brought me this little stuff. And I'm telling you, I think it was the best vanilla latte I've ever had in my life. I'm not even joking. I tell you, I go, this is incredible. This is absolutely incredible. I loved that drink all the way to Truckee. So what is your attitude? I hit the ball in a sand trap. I love sand traps. Now, if you're a golfer, it's really bad because you can have 2 or 3 swings in there. It just stays. It goes up, rolls back. But you got to go, no, I love this. This is great. Right? It's your attitude. Does anyone agree with that? So here's this. So look at year 3, interesting, 2023. There's your real estate production again. Look what number isn't changing. I'll prove it to you. Sean, how long have you and I knew each other from Remax days. How long ago is that?
2004.
16 years ago. You and I have been selling homes for 16 years. What has your average income been for 16 years, if I'm not too personal? I mean, roughly. $250,000 a year. And it bounced around. Did it ever go to $1 million, $2 million, $3 million? Ever?
Only during REO days.
Yeah. But 16, you just kind of bouncing around at $250,000. You guys, you sell very high level. What has your income bounced around at for the past 10 years? Just average, if it's not too personal a question, which is kind of putting you on the spot. But
Between $500,000 and 600,000.
okay. Does it change much?
No.
And do you work really hard each year for that money? Okay. Are you getting this? But look at what's changing. Watch this. 45,000, 112, 262.5. If you're someone used to making 200,000 a year, you could stop this activity and this part-time thing. What would happen if you actually focused on it full time? Yeah. I remember the month that we made over 100,000 for the first time. It was 50,000 a month for my home, for my family. I know it's ridiculous, but that's just, we had a big house and all these kids and cars and private schools. It was 50,000 a month. And then the business was 50,000 a month. I had to make 100,000 a month. Well, some of you are like, oh, God, I just need 10. You could be done at 10,000 a month. You know how quick? I got to 10,000 a month in 3 months. But you're like, well, it's too late. I'm too late, this and that. You guys, it's going to hit. It's going to become the place to work. I'm just telling you right now. So now you're this. And then 2024, now you don't have to, you notice there's no buy or sell goals. Look at 2004. Wow, what happened to the list and buy goals? They're not up there. So right down, you sponsor 10 more. Again, someone said, how'd your prospecting go Friday? I haven't done it in 3 years. There's a finish line. But here's the deal. If you do 40 in 4 years, you won't have the compounding results I had. It's doing 40. It's taking that Coke and just shaking that baby and popping the top, and it goes, ah. It's the champagne, and then you pop it, and it shoots all over the locker room. 40 in a condensed period of time is like throwing the methyl mints in that little science experiment, and it explodes. It could knock you out. You ever see those things go off? It's the fizz. It's the acceleration. You got to go all in. You got to have reckless, wild abandonment of love. And you can't take it personally. You guys take it so personal. Let go of your ego. Your ego is keeping your family from living where you want your family to live. It's keeping your family in the private schools or not the private schools. You're worried about what people think. Stop it. If you're coming from love, Cindy Silva, if you were willing to teach people what you know about real estate, and you help them with their listings, and you help them with their boss, and you come from love, they'll eventually, okay, stop. Tell me more about EXP. Nobody has helped me like you've helped me. Maybe just help them in real estate. You think, well, I don't have enough knowledge. I'm not a Cindy Silva. You could take them to different podcasts you heard. Give them a book called Rocket Fuel. Give them different things. You can introduce them to Tom Daves, the #1 Keller Williams agent of all time, 7 times in 17 years. Keller Williams sent him a letter. It said, if you keep saying 6 times you were the #1 agent in the world for Keller Williams, we will sue the long johns off you. So he went in his garage, found all his trophies. He goes, you're right, I'm sorry, it wasn't 6 times, it was 7 times. And he sent him a letter back. Did you ever hear back from Keller Williams?
Not a word. It was crickets.
It said he kept the trophies. #1 in the world, Keller Williams goes, unless your accounting department made an error. I got these from you guys. I didn't make them up. And he goes, so thank you for pointing out my error. I will now say 7, not 6. I love it. They're like, don't say that. I don't want people to know the #1. But you could do that. You think Tom would talk to somebody for me? Yes. Randy Roche. How do I say your last name? Randy Resch from Reno. He's a Sotheby's guy. Does the big expensive home. He's an amazing, successful guy. He's now at EXP. Randy would talk to a Sotheby's agent for me? Probably not, but no. Would you talk to someone for him if they called you up and say, hey, Randy, would you talk to a Sotheby's agent? I'm trying to recruit in San Diego or Santa Barbara for 5 or 10 minutes. Would you do it? Absolutely. Who here would not help somebody else? Raise your hand. We'll beat you up right now. We're all help, so quit thinking, I can't get help from Dave Kennord, the president of EXP. Did you workplace chat him? How would you like Glenn Sanford, America's newest billionaire? He became a billionaire just a couple months ago. To talk to somebody for you. Oh, I'm just nobody. Again, you're in your head. If you're in your head, you're dead.
Glenn did talk to somebody for me. I just asked him if he would talk to him, and he talked to him.
No, go figure that.
Dave Kennord
So you could, Dave Kennord helped Matthew. Why aren't they helping you? Here's why. You didn't ask. Workplace chat is amazing. By the way, short note, we're about to have lunch in a little bit. There's a bathroom upstairs, a bathroom here, a bathroom by the door, bathrooms downstairs, all 3 levels of bathrooms. If you haven't been downstairs, it's pretty cool. You gotta check it out. So I just want to mention, I don't know, what's that? I don't know. All right. So 2023, there's a 262. You've sponsored, there we go, 10, 15, 15. That's how many? 40. 2024, maybe do 10 more. You're just cruising 10 a year. How many do we sponsor a year?
About 10 right now.
Yeah, there you go. He gets mad about it. But anyways,
Go back to 2021. Let me just shoot a quick photo.
yeah, get your cameras out. Take a picture if you want.
20, okay, good. Go. Let's do this to John Yoakum.
Okay.
In Mexico.
So now you did 10 more. You're at 50. That's going to put you knocking on the door to your 40 FLQA. These incomes are without 40 FLQA. These are not 40 FLQA. You're going to make, yes, yes. So we're still multiplying 1,000 times 750 on average per agent annually. There's your income, $750,000 a year. Now, year 5, you don't have to get out of bed. And you sponsor 10 more to you over 40 FLQA. It kicks in your 7th level. This group of 1,000 can grow to 3,000 in that year. Really? Yes, absolutely. We went from 500, remember 1,000? We had 568. I could show you the spreadsheet. I should have had it up here. We went from 568 to 3,056 in 1 year. I'm having you going from 1,000 to a paltry 3,000. But when you multiply that times 750 an agent and you unlock the 4th level, the 7th level, your income's $2.2 million a year, and you did that 2001, 2, 3, 4, 5 in 5 years. And is the purpose of business is to serve your life, not dominate it. I don't think you should do EXP 7 days a week, 80 hours a week. I don't. I think you should have a day where you're just a dad. You're just a mom. What's the most important thing you could be in life? A dad and a mom. If you're married, a husband. Honey, do you need me to be present when I'm with you or texting? How do you like it when I'm texting? Right? Anybody had those dates? I had to learn, what do I do usually on a date now? I put my phone on airplane mode, and where does it go? I have learned. I'm slow, but I have learned. It only took me 25 years. I slobbered again. I'm sorry.
That's why I sat here, man. Give me some...
Anyways, I get excited I'm like Hooch from, the movie, The Big Dog. So there it is. That's pretty cool. So here's a cool thing. These are just examples. You put in your numbers. I was with Glenn when he had 1,200 people. That was 4 years ago. Today he's a billionaire. Pretty cool. James just ran the numbers, extrapolated the numbers out for next year. It'll be our 5th year at EXP. I'm telling you that you can earn $2.2 million 5 years from now if you do this. You may not do it. It's up to you. I can't stop you or start you. I can't. You, only you. It's your choice, not my choice, not anybody in this room choice, what Mike Cabras does, or Joey Satriani does, or Noel does. It is Noel's choice. It is Matthew's choice. It's Ron Benning's choice. We can't stop you or start you, Ron. Sandra, you taking over Cabo? She lives in Cabo half the year. Mexico, it's your choice, not mine. I made a choice 4 years ago, and we came up with a plan, and we were relentless. And I did a lot of real estate that first year with my team and my personal sales. But I knew where my future was. I was no longer drunk on real estate. I kind of understood that. So James, we've been at it. This is our 5th year. I'm saying this is 5 years from now. How much money did we earn roughly in our 4th year?
Our 4th year, we're going to end right around 4.8 to 5 million.
Which is double that. And then next year, our 5th year, this is 5 years, 2.2. What are we looking at for our?
10 to 11 million.
It's pretty cool, right? What if you didn't do 40? What if you did 60? What if you got really organized? Well, I can't afford someone to be mean to me like James was mean to you. Maybe you should capitalize your business. You buy a Subway, it's $100,000. Why don't you go get some capital? Are you funded? You just gonna like run this like a hot dog stand? No, because they have to spend about $5,000 on the little cart. Did you spend any money? This is a business with serious repercussions, both positive and negative. So I want you to do that. And then here's some of the examples. You have 25 FOQA, and you have 350 agents, 750 an agent. There's how I calculated those numbers. It's $262,500 a year. How much is that a month? $21,000 a month. $21,000 a month is your income. Is that enough for you not to go on listing appointments? And what if you focused on that and you took it to 40? Okay, yeah, you can get a picture of that. Now watch this. Oh, so in your booklet, I don't have the next page, sorry. I got to get there. So in the booklet, so you need to fill in when are you going to have 25? When are you going to have 350 agents? And then times 750, that gives you your annual income. And then you divide that by 12, your monthly revenue. And then that will give you $21,000 a month. Maybe that's enough for you to go full time and to not have to go show property anymore. I see like Pat Hayes was making $80,000 a month and he was doing listings and showing property. I would call him up and go, "Are you out of your mind?" I go, "While you spent 3 hours showing property." He goes, "Yeah, but I'm going to make like $14,000. That's easy. It's fun." I go, "Pat, you know how many agents I recruited that do 20 or 30 sales a year during the 3 hour period? Or that I'm that are going to go get 30 agents who sell 10 and now there's 300 sales a year? All you did was sell a house and make $14,000. We're like mice looking for the cheese, and you grab the cheese and you get snapped, right? And so this right here has your freedom date. So the reason I ran through this whole thing is I want you to reverse engineer the math and tell me when I'm the only guy. It's not happening at Lions. It's not happening at Keller Williams or Remax or Sotheby's. I'm not putting it down, but we at EXP, we're talking to people about not selling real estate. I would be so happy if you guys were making 20, 30, 40,000 a month and you weren't selling. There's always people to sell real estate. 80% will just sell real estate. Everyone's going to do it. No, it's 80-20 rule. The average student gets a C. Does that make college not fair? No. The ones who worked hard get an A. The ones who partied and blew out got Fs and blew out. Life is fair. Life will give you what you asked of it. Some of you just aren't asking enough. Is it about materialism? Is it about, I totally would like to do this. Does this make me a bad person? But here's the deal. If you help enough people get what they want, you'll get what you want. If you pour in love, care for. So here's the deal. We're giving you digital copies of this. You could go to Bodega Bay Mastermind. Rent a beach house. They're cheap. They're like $400 a night. And the ocean's right there. And you could bring your group. And you could replicate this with your group. And nobody will be sliding around on the mountain, right? Maybe you have a cabin. Terry, he couldn't get up the hill. He was stuck. I had to pick him up. And he has a 4-wheel drive truck, but the check engine light, it's beautiful too. So he brought his Lexus, and he just couldn't get up the hill. So he got a cabin over here. It's almost as nice as this one. You could do a Tahoe Mastermind there with your group. Terry's been with the company a long time. How long, Terry?
About 2 weeks.
2 weeks. Okay. So you need to do this with your group. How long ago did I cook up this idea? Was it?
We did it about a month ago.
A month ago?
Yeah.
So we're talking and we said, let's do it. We just did it. Yeah. We just did it. It was probably on an airplane. Usually I get inspired on airplanes. I used to sleep, but I had sleep apnea. Now I'm like, and I got notepads and coffee. I just write. So do that. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to turn the page. You figure out your freedom date at home. And time is it? What time is it?
Can I ask you a question?
Time, yes.
If you want 1,000 in your group, about how many on your front line have you seen that?
25 will get it done. Yeah. 25, I've seen people do it with 20. You don't have to go to 40. But you don't want to do 20 in 20 years.
Right. No.
It's a momentum. Write that down. This is about building momentum and belief. You put them next to each other, and they may go, well, of course Tom Daves could do it. Of course Marguerite could do it. But when you put Vincent St. Louis, who does not know how to sell a home, and he has 130, 140 people selling $1 million home and doing $1 billion in volume, just because he decided, I'm not lazy, I have a dream, and I'm willing to work for it, and I don't care what other people think because I'm loving and serving. If they want to get negative and grumpy and crotchety, again, Rob Flick had it right. Talk to people with good energy, and you talk to the old time. Not all of them are, but some of them. You ever met an old cranky agent? You're like, if I never, like when you see their listings, you go the other way. You find a reason not to show it. Don't share EXP with them. If they get in, they tell their friends. And negative, ugly people have negative, ugly friends. And you'll have the negative, ugly group. And you'll be the most, no, I'm serious. I'm serious. You'll have the most, be careful. A little leaven leavens the whole batch. Be careful who you invite into your inner circle. I've been very picky about who's on my team for years. I care about the culture. I remember talking to Cindy Silva, and Darcy's like, I love her. She's amazing. Please, 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 please. I go, and I didn't know her, but I'm like, okay, I trust Darcy. Okay. It's like referrals. What's the best sort of business? Referrals. I didn't know her. And I'm like, I'm so glad I said yes. Look at her. She's just beaming right there. And she has given and given and given and given to my team. And I try to give back, but she's outgiven me. Okay? Okay, next page. Go to list of names. Some of you are thinking, well, I've talked to everyone I know. Okay, I'm not going to fill it out now. You're going to have to do this at home. But a list of whales. What are whales? People selling 50 to 750 homes a year. Or, of course, 1,000, 2,000, but 50 to 750 homes a year. So I'd had Jeff Willems on that list, that kind of thing. Mike and Renee would be on that list, sort of thing. Marguerite. Solid producers, people selling 60 to 50 homes a year, 20, 30, 40. They're solid producers. Start really thinking about who I know who's like this. Write. Not now. You can write a few names now if you want. Watch this. Just want to take you through 10 agents, 10 newer agents in the industry, 1 to 15. If you said, look, I sell 30 homes a year. Let me meet you for coffee. Let me help you with your listing presentation. And you turn them onto Michael Lewis marketing suites. $120 to join. Melissa Henry, they'll have a buyer presentation and a listing presentation. Darcy, how slick is those presentations?
What's it called?
They're awesome. Do you have them? Yeah. And so would that help a brand new agent? Here's what they have. They just show up, and just like I did. And the seller goes, what's your marketing plan? You're like, to answer the phone, to do open houses. They're like, I don't have one, you know? I mean, and they don't have anything. So you can make a difference. And guess what? You come from value. They're like, tell me about EXP as you meet with them. When you meet with them, don't talk to them about EXP. And this, they said, hey, wow, you know, tell me about EXP. But they're kind of ready for you to launch. Don't actually say, oh, we can talk about that later. Let me help you with how to close a listing appointment. And you're meeting with people. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. I've been doing that since before I was in EXP. Yes. I've been doing that a long time. Joey, right? I mean, we were buddies and doing that. Okay, next thing, 10 people getting licensed. Well, you know, who says they're, yeah, I did this, that. Everybody did that. How about this? 10 whales in other careers, pharmaceutical sales, general manager of Nordstrom's, general manager of Jaguar dealership, general manager of a resort, of a really nice restaurant, and they're sick of it. What you don't know is they go to bed miserable because they hate leaving their family at 3 o'clock every night, every afternoon, getting home at 2 o'clock at night because their kids get home at 3, they leave at 3, they never see their own children. They see their own children one day a week, and they're sick of it, and they could get their license and kill it because they're a high-octane superstar. How do you succeed at this? You look for and hire high-octane superstars. One of the most successful mortgage guys in the planet, he has like this $500 million mortgage company. His executive assistants, he met at the drive-through window of a Taco Bell. She's like, hi, welcome to Taco Bell. How can I help you? And he ordered. She was excellent. I'm right on that. Boom, boom, boom. Hey, did you want hot? And she was so well-spoken, so confident. He goes, hey, and this is weird. Here's my business card. If you ever want a job, you don't know me, but I'm very successful in the lending world. You call me. I will get you a job. I'm looking for people like you. She called that next week. And then he met her. He not only did he like her, he made her his personal executive assistant. And now she makes $250,000 a year. She's still his personal executive assistant. She went from the drive-through to $250,000 a year. She was that upwardly mobile, high-octane superstar who was like 19. Now she's 29. She's been with him for 10 years. Look for talent. Find talent. Talent grows businesses. And they're not all agents and brokers. Yes. Does that make sense?
Yeah. But Brent, how does it work? Do they still have to sell 2 years, or are we ever done?
Nobody has to sell any real estate. If you want to count them, as an FLQA, they have to sell a home every 6 months for you to count them. But they could bring you, like Rick Jiha. I do not get to count. He's got, how many people in your guys' group? Casey and Rick, how many people?
749.
That was kind of specific. 1,700. Who wants to have 1,749? So that'll make them $1 million this year, over $1 million in rev share. So here's the deal. I don't get to count them as one of my 40. Because right before I signed up Rick, he had a niece who had been trying to talk to him about EXP a year earlier, and he talked her out of it because he's influential. And he felt so bad. He goes, you sign up my niece, she'll sign me up because we're Lebanese and we'll have a 1,000-year war if this doesn't go down like this. So I signed up his niece in New York, and she doesn't sell real estate. So I've never been able to count Rick, who sells a lot of real estate, and I just can't count him. Even though I have 1,749 people in my group. I didn't know that. I've been telling people 1,400. They just added another 300 in the last 3 months or whatever. But here's the deal. So I make a tremendous income. I just can't count them as one of my 40. So nobody has to do stuff. Now, if you're going to count them as an FLQA, 5, 10, 15, 20, the March to 2025, they have to sell one home every 6 months. This is not a high standard. What I do really well, I targeted agents who sold 10 or more homes a year. They're going to be cappers. You get the full payout. And then I told them to do likewise. There you go. If you target 20 agents who are brand new, this will not work for you. Highly, highly probable it will not work for you. And we're almost done. If you have to use the restroom, jump up, use the restroom. There's, I get it. I kind of got to go too. So I'm going to wrap it up. So here's the deal. So this, 10 relatives, 10 referral partners. What's that? I had a lender refer me 2 people 2 months ago. They both signed up and they're FLQAs for me from a lender. I've never even given him a loan. But I said, hey, if you know anyone, he goes, yeah, he gave me a Keller Williams agent in El Dorado Hills, knocking down $600,000-$700,000 signs. She already counts. And he gave me another one, just like that. She counts. I have 2 FLQAs from a lender that I've never even used, but I asked for referrals because he wants business from me, and I'm working on getting him a referral or a loan or something. Title reps are good too. Title reps, plumbers, painters, ask. Have you asked relatives, friends, co-workers, ex-co-workers? Maybe what did you do before real estate? Call them up, say hi, just tell them what you're doing. I'm in an executive position now. I'm building a company. If you know anybody, I would love a referral. Like, who's your best friend in real estate? Oh, Bob. And so let's say, Noel, who's your best friend in the world? Who's your best friend?
My best friend.
Your best friend.
I have several.
Just pick
I'll
one,
go with
or
Royce.
one of your good friends.
Royce.
So let's say I don't know Noel, but I know Royce. I go, Royce and I are close. We're friends. And maybe Royce is in the home warranty business. I go, Royce, who's your best friend in real estate? She goes, oh, that would be Noel Kreider. I go, how many homes do you sell a year? And she goes, 30 homes a year. Is that a good, well, she capped.
Yeah.
And I said, can you do an introduction? I'd love to meet Noel. And I know you think the world of me, right? And they'll smile, of course. I go, would you be willing to introduce me to Noel? I could be in Colorado. I could be in Phoenix. And she introduces me to Noel. If I reach out to you through Noel, and Noel goes, Royce goes, hey, Noel, I want you to meet Brent Gove. He's just killing it, blah, blah, blah. Would you give me more attention than if I just cold called you?
Totally.
Because why?
Because it's referred by someone I know and trust.
Not only that, one of your best friends. So you say, who is your best friend in real estate? Are you with me? And there'll be things. All right. Co-workers, people you know from college, childhood, 10 folks that you do business with. What's that mean? Your dry cleaner, your banker. People, ask them for a referral. I want one person. Give me one person. Well, now you just added 10 people to your list. I don't care where they live. They can live in Connecticut. They can live in British Columbia. They can live in India. They can live in Mexico City. I want one person. And then they give it, I go, you got one or two more? You know? You ever meet people? Oh, you're from me? Yeah, here's 20 of my business cards. Hand them out to everyone you know. I hate that when people do it to me. Yeah. Don't be that person. Yeah. It's 5 minutes. Let's meet for 5 or 10 minutes. Do you have one person? Once you get that, do you have another? No. I don't. I'm like a salesman. My big foot goes in the door. So let me put my foot in the door. 10 college friends, high school, childhood, 10 folks you do business with, 10 independent brokers, you know, just brainstorm. Brrr. Oh yeah, what was I forgot. So this right here, you do 10. I don't even know, it's like 140 people if you actually do this exercise. And you have people, wrap it up with this. And we're gonna have lunch, okay? Turn the page. What is the next page? I gotta do this. There it is. Here it is. If you look here, it says Ruth Chris at the top. Napa, sushi, Morton's, beach house, cabin trip, wine tasting. Don't have money for Ruth Chris and Morton's or a beach house? Backyard barbecue, hot dogs and Oscar Mayer weenies. The ketchup and mustard, baby. People want community. Gather your group and just throw some. People, who hates barbecues? I mean, we all love it, right? Get some Lay's chips and some Diet Coke and just hang out and spend the evening together. Create community with your groups. Who has ever seen me do this stuff? Anybody? Never. I did it day one. Day one. Who was at El Fornillo enjoying good food by the fire on a cold, wet, rainy night? Raise your hand. Stand up. Stand up. This is at the very beginning. The first thing I did. I mean, the first 30 days. I go, let's all go to El Fornillo. Let's have dinner, my tree, and we'll enjoy some good wine. Everybody here was in that room. Like, yeah, but you could afford it. I borrowed $100,000. I didn't. I borrowed $100,000. It's the first thing I did. I used that money to pay for that El Fornillo's. And then I had to pay it back. Some of you go, well, I can't do it. I don't have the money. I didn't have it either. So what are you going to do about it? Are you going to continue to just say, well, I can't do it? Go ahead. So who's been to my backyard for a barbecue or something? Around the room. Who's been at a movie night on a Friday night watching an EXP webinar from Rob Flick or somebody? Raise your hand. Smaller group. The rest of you didn't make the cut. How many people fit in my office? Maybe 14, right? Right, Krista? It's a small group. But Monday nights, I'd get my agents I'd sponsor, get them in there, and Friday nights, and I'd have some hot chocolate, popcorn, blah, blah, blah. But here's the deal. So I want you to list, just right now, list 5 events you're going to do this year. Be courageous. I'm going to do a cabin trip. I'm going to do a mastermind at a cabin. We'll go whitewater river rafting down the river over here that goes by Squaw Valley. That's so slow, times you get out and kick the raft. You know, this year the water was flowing pretty good. So those of you who've ever done it, you know what I'm talking about. Bike riding. Are you going to do a beach house trip? You can do a barbecue. You're going to go to Napa? Are you going to take your group to Jackson, Almanor County, right there by El Dorado Hills? That's becoming a very popular wine tasting. You can do something out by Lincoln, out to those things, those wineries out there, Eagle Vines or Eagle, whatever that thing's called. You're going to go to Napa and just take 7 of your key leaders. People want to belong. I bet you were excited you got invited here. And that we put time and energy into it. And that you're about to get lunch if I'd ever shut up. But, you know, what can you do? How about a picnic at a lake? How about a movie night? Movie at your house. My house isn't nice. Go to Topgolf with 10 of your people. Just knock the balls around and have some little snack appetizers at Topgolf. And your lender will come pay for it. Quit telling me why you can't do stuff. Stop it. You are holding you back. Finally, the bottom, 7 key leaders you'll break bread with in 2021. 7 key leaders. Like, I don't know if they get in, but it starts with, hey, can I take you to lunch? Just want to see what you know about real estate. I have a guy, I said, I may want to hire you one day just to kind of be around my office. He's a big star at a local brokerage. Guess who I'm having lunch with next week? And we're just talking about it. I may or may not hire him. I didn't make any promises, but he's excited because he's heard so much about EXP. Nobody's pumped up at Lions, you guys. It's business as usual. Nobody's like going to bed so excited from Coldwell Banker. Coldwell Banker's not having a meeting about how to sell less real estate. At Keller Williams, it was always how to sell more. At RE/MAX, it was always how to sell more. Just produce. We're getting rich, you produce. Are you with me? It's a dairy farm. You're the cow, you're getting milked. I was milked for 2 decades. No. I went to 100 sales a year, to 200 sales a year, to 300 sales a year, to 400 sales a year. Suckle. And so I don't mean my agents. I mean RE/MAX corporate, Keller Williams corporate. They loved it. Listen to me. They're not going, okay, my dream for you is in 24 months, some of you 12 months, some of you 36 months tops, is to never sell them. That's my dream for every one of you. Who will sell the real estate? There'll be plenty. There'll be plenty of people to sell real estate. I pray that you're not where you are today 36 months from now. Because I'll tell you this, 36 months just flew by. And some of you know who I'm talking to. I love you, but you need to like I say in my webinar, I'll find you in 5 years. At your desk, at the MLS, comping another house, trying to teach someone how to open a lockbox. My greatest fantasy, no serious, was finding the lost lockboxes. I had 100 of them. They dropped down to like 20, 30. I'm like, where are the 70? How often was I getting lockboxes? They're $100 a piece, 120 a piece. He had a nickname for me. Do you remember your nickname for me? Lockbox. No, Captain Lockbox. I was making a difference in the world. I'm weird about certain things. I like views. I like light. If you'll see my office, the blinds are never shut. If a light bulb's out, Rob, what do I do?
First thing you see when you walk in the office.
I'll notice the light bulb is out. Can you please contact maintenance, have them replace this? Like if this was my cabin, that one would freak me out. I'm already like obsessed. I'm totally weird. I have to have every light on, period. When I leave, I like to leave them on. I want to be greeted by light. Yes. Some of you close your blinds, you shut it down, battle the house. I want it 3 o'clock in the morning. I want it flipping Camelot. That's what I like. That's not good to our environment. I'm a flawed human being. Now, so who are you going to break bread with? Who would really be a trimmer? Next, and when this is done, we're done. Here it is. Cabo. Who are you bringing to Cabo, man? Frontline. When I say guests, this could be people you've sponsored because they don't have their ticket yet. Tickets are going to open this week, and they will sell out in 24 hours. You better go to BrentGove.com and check it morning, noon, and night. I promise you, you miss it one day, that'll undoubtedly be the day we open up, and you're not going to Cabo. And then you got to register. So you need to leave here this weekend by tomorrow and know exactly who's coming. And then you buy their ticket, let them reimburse you with the check. And there you go. That's all I got to say. You should have at least 10 guests. Every one of you should have 10 guests to Cabo. It's not till February 21st. This is November the what? 14th. James, we went to, as guests, I brought 2 guests. I brought this guy named Barry Mathis. Where's Barry? And I brought James as a guest. The next one was 6 months later. How many guests do you think we had between people I'd sponsored? You got to put the people you sponsor. They got to get there. You got to help them see there. And then I bring guests. How many think we had there in San Diego? Frontline.
Yeah, March.
Just not the whole group, just frontline.
Frontline, there was about 20.
So if I could get 20 in 6 months, can you get 10? Like, for I already got 10, I'm getting 10 more. I'll have 20 in Cabo. Then get it done. Get your credit card out. Well, my credit card, I can't afford to buy the $397 each. Times 10, that's like $4,000 worth of tickets. I can't help you if you're going to think like that. Who do you know that could finance you? Well, I don't have credit like you. I had bad credit 4 years ago. My credit score is almost 800 now. I couldn't get a loan 4 years ago. I had bad credit. We had hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt. Remember, baby? Who paid off that debt? And what was it like to pay it off? This summer. It just took till the summer. We had that much tax debt at 50% penalties and interest. Hundreds and hundreds. I had pain. Some of you got your act together so well, maybe that's your problem. So this. But I'm telling you, listen to me. We're going to move on. I cannot begin to tell you how important these events are. Major decisions are made at major events. It's who they meet for breakfast. It's who they spend lunch with. It's not the 9 to noon. The 9 to noon's great. You're going to hear stories. Dallas. What are you doing there? Right?
August still?
August. It's coming out. How many are you going to have in your front line? How many do you have in your group? We're going to stop here, but airfare. People you'll get their ticket, then they'll wait for airfare. They'll go, oh my gosh, it's $1,900 just for me to get there. My wife, it's $4,000 for airfare. Sorry, we're not coming. That's your fault because you didn't stay on them to get the airline tickets. You know, the hotel is almost sold out. You may have to stay at the Hyatt Place. It's a 7-minute walk from the Hyatt Ziva. You might get a room at the Hyatt Ziva, you might not. Who cares? You get bands. The Hyatt Place is $99 a night for 2. And then the bands for day passes is $300 a day. So add that up, it's $399. If you go to the Hyatt and you're able to get one, it's actually $450 a day. It'll be cheaper for you to stay at $99 a night. It's a brand new Hyatt Place. Like in Roosevelt Gallery, it's very nice. And I'm sorry, if you can't get in, you can't get in, but you can spend all day, all night, eat at all the restaurants, the pools, everything. But come, get people there.